This is NBC Nightly News, Wednesday, October 17th. Reported by John Chancellor.
Good evening. The Middle East war produced developments all over the world today. The oil-producing countries of the Arab world decided to use their oil as a political weapon. They will reduce oil production by 5% a month until the Israelis withdraw from occupied territories. If the Arab countries keep that pledge, it would reduce their production by almost 50% in 1 year. There were diplomatic maneuvers at the United Nations, in Washington, and in Cairo. And there is a savage and possibly decisive tank battle raging in the Sinai Desert. The decision to cut back on oil production as a weapon against Israel was taken at a meeting in Kuwait, which was attended by the Syrians and the Egyptians as well. Less Arab oil won't hurt the United States much, but it will pose quite severe problems for the Japanese and especially for the West European countries. Here's a report on the meeting in Kuwait.
Even before today's meeting began, there was an announcement in Kuwait that prices for Arab oil were going up. A huge increase voted in an overnight meeting without even consulting Western buyers. Then the ministers began what was to be an 8-hour meeting, resulting in their decision to reduce the flow of oil to America and other nations supporting Israel. The cutback will be 5% for the first month and an additional 5% for each passing month until Israeli forces leave occupied Arab land. The ministers added an appeal to the American people to stand beside the Arab world. For countries like Kuwait, where these wells are, or others like Saudi Arabia, there's no real economic penalty in reducing the flow off the docks for the U.S. They make so much money on their oil, the loss will hardly be noticed. But Kuwait and Saudi Arabia are still not anxious to completely destroy their relations with the U.S., and they were able to persuade more militant Arab ministers who wanted to boycott America completely or nationalize U.S. facilities. Robert Hager, NBC News.
Every day, refineries in the United States rely on 26 million gallons of crude oil from the Middle East to keep operating at full capacity. That is only 5 or 6% of our daily fuel needs, but if in the months to come the Arabs cut it off gradually, as they threaten, by next summer the shortage will be far more serious than it was this past summer. Oil production in this country is running at about 100% of capacity. We have no hope of getting oil out of new domestic fields such as Alaska's North Slope for at least 3 years. There is really only one new source the U.S. can tap right away. This is the Elk Hills Naval Petroleum Reserve in California, where the wells are all in. The oil here has been saved for a military emergency. But the oil from Elk Hills would only amount to about a third of that we now get from the Arab states. The situation would still be critical and would probably result in rationing of gasoline and fuel oil in this country. Don Oliver, NBC News, near Los Angeles.
At the United Nations today, in answer to a question, Israeli Foreign Minister Abba Eban said that Israel will certainly be ready for most substantial compromises in peace talks with the Arabs. He also proposed a ceasefire in place. It is not clear if Eban's statement means that Israel is anxious to negotiate after 12 days of fighting, or whether it's a restatement of a basic Israeli position. Eban did say he is certain that Soviet President Alexei Kosygin is now in Cairo, conferring with the Egyptians. And in Washington, President Nixon was conferring with the foreign ministers of 4 Arab countries at the White House. Here's a report from Tom Brokaw.
No one would say whether oil was discussed at White House meetings today between President Nixon, Secretary of State Kissinger, and 4 foreign ministers representing 18 Arab states. Earlier, the ministers said they asked for the meeting to talk about the American role in the war and not about oil. When the discussions broke up, everyone seemed to be in a friendly mood.